In a nutshell, by studying English at NUI Galway, you're studying, first of all, a wide range of different kinds of writing. Poems, novels, short stories, plays, and so on. But we also teach other kinds of material too. You'll have a chance to study film, for instance, even sometimes visual arts and other kinds of artistic expression. So we give you a very wide introduction to different kinds of creative expression, in a sense, with a focus on writing, of course. What we try to do is give you a good sense of the history of writing from the very earliest periods of the medieval period, when English was first written down, right up to the present day. So you study medieval literature, you study literature from the Renaissance period, the 19th century, and also the contemporary period. Like I say, we also try to give you a very wide range of different kinds of writing. What's the difference between a poem and a work of fiction? What are the different ways in which language is being used? What are the different purposes, the functions of these different kinds of writing? Why would anybody write a poem or play in the first place? So we try to not only give you information about the history of literature, but also a sense of why people have written and what the impact has been of their writing through history. The other important aspect of studying English is to help you to improve your own powers of expression, your own writing skills, your ability to speak effectively, to be persuasive, to formulate an opinion, and to argue and debate with people. So a large part of what you'll do in studying English, apart from reading, is actually writing and honing your expressive skills, even in terms of debate and discussion in classes. Literature and art are very fundamental to human experience. Creativity is a way in which we express our hopes, our expectations. It's a way in which we interpret our lives. It's ways we interpret the past. It's also a way that we imagine the future. And literature can give us certain kinds of knowledge and understanding that we don't get, we'll say, from history books or from newspapers or from scientific theory. There's a whole range of experience and knowledge that comes from studying creativity. And the basic fact is that these things are so important to us because we're surrounded by them. Even if you don't study a lot of literature, you're surrounded by literary artifacts. You're surrounded by popular songs, music. You're surrounded by advertising. And all of these kinds of expression also, deploy creativity. They use creative skills in the same way as writers of great works of literature have done. So studying English is a way of getting you to think about what makes for powerful forms of creativity and expression in all sorts of ways. One of the other skills that we try to help you with in the study of English is critical thinking, which doesn't mean negative thinking, but rather it means learning how to make judgments and to argue effectively from evidence and to argue persuasively and to use all the kind of resources of language and expression and be able to use those, very well. And in terms of learning about the history of literature, learning about different forms of writing, and working on your own critical and expressive skills, you're also gaining certain kinds of skills which are going to be useful in all kinds of environments. A lot of our graduates go on to careers in teaching, but also many other kind of careers, including the civil service, information technology, advertising, even the creative industries and the cultural industries themselves. So what kind of person should study English? Well, firstly, I think what you need to have is a certain curiosity. You need to be curious about the kinds of things that people have thought and felt and written in the past. You have to be curious about the way people think and write and feel in different cultures and different places. You also have to be sort of curious about, not only what has been written, but why things have been written. You need to be also interested in asking the question and trying to answer the question of why a particular piece of writing or a particular work of literature or even a film, why it is that it has such an impact on you. What makes something valuable or not so valuable? What makes it interesting or beautiful or not interesting or not beautiful? Being able to evaluate, form judgments, and express them effectively is a very important part of the study of English. So if you want to be able to do those things, if you think those things are important, which they are, then English is a very good subject for you. English is also a very valuable subject if you're a person who's interested in writing. If you're interested in the history of writing, but you're also interested in writing yourself. Reading English literature will give you a whole new toolkit, a whole set of rich resources for expression, examples to use, and a kind of ability to see what has worked and what maybe hasn't worked so well in the past. The other thing about studying English here at NUI Galway is you're going to be closely connected to a very rich, vibrant, creative community. both in terms of creative writers, poets, and fiction writers, but also importantly, if you're interested in theatre, a very rich theatrical and dramatic scene here in Galway. And in fact, in studying English, you can do courses which are not only about the study of literature and study of texts, but practical-based courses. We do have some seminars in creative writing, we have seminars in theatre practice, and so on, all of which you may be interested in, because they will also help you to develop your own creativity, as well as learning about the creativity of others.